Our panelists in for the hour. We're pleased to have Bobby Eberle, Republican strategist and host of the 13-minute News Hour, joining us live. Jesse Jane Duff, Gunnery Sergeant, U.S. Marine Corps and Newsmax contributor. And Mark Meckler, president of Convention of States Action. Good to see everyone here, and thanks so much for coming on. I'll go over to Bobby Eberle on that. It's interesting to hear from the Archbishop. And wow, the timing of it, right? You just heard President Biden, again, you knew where he stood, but again, took one question just now, 10 minutes ago, moments ago, and outright, saying, I support Roe. I support Roe. Archbishop, saying it doesn't align with that as far as it's a moral obligation. This isn't about politics.
Well, let me give you two perspectives, Sean. One coming from a Catholic person as well, who's also working on a degree in theology. What Biden has said is just so opposite what the Catholic faith teaches, what people believe. Coming at it from a media perspective, though, you mentioned some of the things he said today in the press conference. If I were there, I would be asking, because he said that he believes, some people believe that life starts at conception. He does not. He disagrees. So I would ask him, okay, Mr. President, when do you believe life begins? Does it have any intrinsic value? When does it have value? Those are the questions he just opened himself up for, and I hope they get asked.
Jesse Jane Duff, and Bobby, that's why I went to you first, by the way. I recognize your background on that. Jesse, back to one story we brought you earlier. As you've seen, President Biden seemingly walking up to the media, but not answering many questions. And when he does, he typically says, they won't let me answer, or I'm only supposed to call on this person, or maybe he just turns his back in general. I'll bring our panelists in now to discuss. Bobby Eberle, Jesse Jane Duff, Mark Meckler to discuss this. Good to see all of you here, and welcome back. Mark, since I cut you off, I'll start you off with this. It's always, they don't want me to answer this, or they let me only call on this person. The question is, who is they, Mark?
Well, if I had to guess, it's there is a group of people, but I think it's led primarily by Ron Klain, Chief of Staff. But if you look at his administration, it's essentially by the Obama administration. He surrounded himself with Obama acolytes. And I think what we're seeing is the Obama third term. I also think this is a direct statement regarding Biden's mental capacity, because even if people are telling him what to say and who to call on, it's not normal for a president to say, they told me or they instructed me to call on these people. That's what it says on the little card in front of him. It's just not something you would normally say out loud. He's saying the quiet part out loud because he's not in control of his mental faculties.
Now, I'll bring in Bobby Eberle. We talk about this whole conversation and ideas float around about this, but actually former acting director of national intelligence, Rick Grenell, once said that based on initial executive actions by the president, he actually believes someone else is setting an agenda, and namely Susan Rice. He says that she was President Obama's national security advisor, now serving as Biden's domestic policy director. Your reaction to that, Bobby?
Well, I would agree with Mark. I was going to say Ron Klain, but also Susan Rice. And what Mark just said is absolutely right on. Even if you get your press secretary or communications department to line up the questions, know which reporters you're going to talk to, you don't say it in the press conference, and you don't pull out your card and say, I was instructed to talk on these people. I mean, and today, like I said, he just left himself wide open for a whole series of questions because he's not in control of what he's doing. He's incoherent. Definitely someone's calling the shots. I'd like to know who it is.
Well, maybe Jesse Jane Duff knows. Let's ask her.
Yeah.
I agree with both the panelists. Mark hit it on the head that he's saying the quiet part out loud. When you're saying to the American public, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, all of us are saying, oh, who's going to get you in trouble? Notice we never see Susan Rice on camera, not once, because I think they're fully aware that the perception is that Biden is not in control of what he is or is not doing. His dialogue is completely scattered. When he walked away after the Afghanistan situation and didn't even take questions from reporters, he insulted every single American out there, let alone the Gold Star families who want to get answers. I missed President Trump's capability of getting in front of the camera any time of day and answering even the hard questions. And he would challenge reporters to knock it off if he felt it was inappropriate. But on the flip side of this, President Biden cannot manage open dialogue. It's very difficult for him. If he's on a script, he sounds pretty good. but it's not the same Biden we saw 20, 30 years ago when you compare tapes. It's completely different.
Mark Meckler, I'll bring you into this, and something I brought up from a media lens, a media focus. I just want to see this president step into the briefing room, the White House briefing room, not in this arranged giant hall where everyone's spaced out, the place where Jen Psaki goes, the place where you've seen President Trump sit and take questions for hours on end sometimes, the place where President Obama and everyone else took questions from. Mark, why can't this president go to the White House press briefing room and take these questions?
I think the answer is really simple, because he's completely incapable. He's mentally incompetent. And I don't mean that as an insult. This is important to understand. Yeah, I have family members who we've lost to dementia and Alzheimer's. We've watched that decline over time. It's very sad. Yeah, at this stage, in their cases, they could not have faced a press briefing. And I think it's really clear President Biden is declining mentally. He is incapable of taking questions on the fly and responding cogently, so they don't allow him to do it.
Bobby Eberle, your thoughts on that? And again, you know, this is something that needs to be brought up. Clearly, there are a lot of questions for this president. And just to remind viewers, it took him 24 hours to respond to when those 13 U.S. service members. I got about 15 seconds for you.
Yeah, just to echo, I've wondered the same thing, is that he goes into the East Room, he goes into these long hallways. The press briefing room is designed to be grilled on, and I don't think he can handle that pressure, and he avoids it.
All right, Bobby Eberle, Jesse Jane Duff, Mark Meckler, thank you so much for being our panelists today. We do appreciate it. I hope you all enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends. Share it. Spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.